At number 1, we have the team that simply can't lose in late round reach around. Davante Adams is like a fantasy cheat code, as he is the number 3 overall wide receiver despite missing 3 games. Matt Ryan did what he could as well, but you can thank Mr. Adams for this tight W against Elastigirl Thick in Week 9. It won't get any easier next week, as the Abraham Sons come to Reach Around City to try and succeed at what 9 other teams thus far could not accomplish. Get your popcorn ready. At the runner-up spot, we have Elastigirl Thick, who lost just their second game of the season this week to the top dog, and it just wasn't a pretty outing overall for this crew. Kamara posted his lowest score thus far, and Russell Wilson wasn't cooking so much as microwaving in the Hawks' loss to the Bills. This is the only game this season in which they've scored less than a hundo, so they're still second in scoring, but third in the rankings as they took an L to fellow 7-2 team Abraham Sons back in Week 5. They should be coasting a 9-2 in no time though, as their next 2 opponents have a combined 3-15 record. The thickness shall rise again. Everyone's favorite Suns slide in at number 3 as they easily put down the Fat Grass Fatties, thanks mostly to the miraculous Muppet Boy himself, Kyler Murray, who posted the highest score of his already excellent season this week. Other than him though, they didn't get much help from their supporting cast, as their next highest score was Johnny Brown at 13.9. Their toughest matchup of the year is next up on the agenda, as they'll need all hands on deck against Reach Around if they want a chance at that number 1 seed. At numero 4, we have the Nation of Gumby, who get a nice hard-fought win against Finna Be a Breeze to once again get above 500. Justin Herbert has been surprisingly reliable for them, and it was a combination of him and Juju leading the way that helped them secure the dub this week. Next up for them is a clash against the Lightning in a game that may have some important implications for playoff seedings, as both these squads are currently sitting in the wild card spots if the season ended today. Coming up next is Finna Be a Breeze, who fall flat on their face against the Gumby Nation, thanks primarily to an inept Tampa Bay offense and a combined 9.4 points from Old Man Brady and his butt buddy Fournette. Even a halfway decent showing by these two would have given them a shot at taking down the Gumbies, but it wasn't meant to be. This marks their second L in a row, and if they don't get their act together soon, they'll find themselves on the outside looking in come playoff time. They're currently sitting at the number 7 seed and will probably need to win 3 out of their last 4 games to make it in. And the next one up, they just gotta have against Show Me Them TDs. Making their appearance in the rankings at number 6 is the motherfucking Team Wooker. These guys say fuck your feelings and have no problem running up the score against lesser opponents, as all true champions do, and are storming their way back into the wildcard conversation after their second consecutive victory against a 1-win team. They are our first back-to-back weekly high score winners, and do so by earning the highest score of any team this season so far. They also had the lowest score of any team this season, so you never know what to expect with them. Tyreek, Big Ben, Jerry Jeudy, Donkey Kong Metcalf, and especially Dalvin Cook played their asses off. Next up, they'll square off with the team everyone loves to hate, the Fat Grass Fatsos. In the 7th spot, we have the 6-3 Fat Grass Fatties, who couldn't get it done against the Suns and see their 3-game win streak come to an end, while simultaneously falling down to the number 12 spot in the league in total points scored. Despite the loss, they still have a horseshoe shoved directly up their ass, so they remain in sole possession of the number 4 playoff seed for now. Next up is a showdown with the up-and-coming Wookers, followed by a gimme game against the Skeet. But danger lies just around the corner, as their final 2 games come against teams with a combined 16-2 record. So we'll see just how lucky their horseshoe really is in due time. At number 8 is the indomitable Red Lightning, who stepped up when it mattered and squeaked by with a razor-thin margin over the Kool-Aid sippers in Week 9. Patty Mahomes did the majority of the heavy lifting, but T-Rex Burkhead chipped in a little bit with his second highest total of the year. Their team ain't looking too great, TBH, but they control their own destiny, sitting at the number 6 seed currently, mostly because the teams in this league are pretty trash overall. Their Week 10 showdown against the Gumby Nation is a crucial game for them, and one that's not necessarily a must-win, but pretty damn close. So we'll see if they have what it takes to be a contender. At number 9 is Show Me Them TDs, who only started active players this week, despite not really needing to, against the flaccid Elite Skeet. David Johnson's injury is a bummer, but luckily Aaron Jones is back in the saddle and ready to rumble. Marvin Jones has been marginally less bad than he was earlier in the year, and Deshaun Watson is a true leader and dynamic playmaker for their offense. All they got to do is win out, and they got a chance. Next up, they'll try to ruin the Breezes' day and claim their third consecutive victory. At number 10 are the Joestown Kool-Aid Sippers, who take it on the chin for the fourth week in a row in a game that was so close it's heading to a mandatory recount. A losing culture is hard to turn around, as we all know, and at this point they're pretty much relegated to playing spoiler for their upcoming opponents, as the playoffs are essentially out of reach. At least they'll get a nice little freebie win against the Hambones next week as compensation for their sorrows. You got all that Kool-Aid and nobody to ship it. Remaining at the number 11 position, we have the Skeet, whose elite moniker is nothing so much as an ironic self-own because they've lost 8 times as many games as they've won. Kareem Hunt and Darrell Henderson Jr. were on bye this week, so they started a white running back named Patrick Allard, whose 2.1-point performance is a perfect metaphor for the team as a whole in 2020. But at least they're not the worst. That honor belongs to the Hambones, who have not put away their Metro cards since September 20th, and while the Fatgrass Fatties have a horseshoe up their ass, the Hambones are getting a rim job from a black cat under a ladder on the 13th floor of Trump Tower. While each of the last 2 weeks they were the 3rd highest scoring team, and just happened to be playing the 2nd highest scoring team both times, this week, whatever sick bastard is up there trying to fuck with them gifted them the 2nd highest score of the week while playing against the team with the highest score. You can't make this shit up. Well, I guess you could make it up pretty easily, but shut the fuck up. You know what I mean. God damn it, just let this season end. For the Fatgrass Fatties, Joestown Kool-Aid Sippers, Hambones, Elite Skeet, Elastic Girl Thick, and this finna be a breeze. Take out your Metro cards and get aboard the L train.